feels so abstract. Yeah, it's complicated what you say, the way you act. Well, it makes me so confused. I don't know what to do anymore. Can't you just make up your mind? My heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't wanna think about it right now. Maybe you just wanna be friends. There is a fight when we are talking. Maybe you just wanna pretend, but I can read between the lines. Even if I can't deny that all the things you said are hurting. Still wanna be with you. I think you want it too. 'Cause baby, I don't wanna be.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I love that. What do we call it? The Card Maker Success theme song. I don't know the lyrics, but I feel like we should have a playlist. Actually, I guess our playlist would only be one song, so it wouldn't be that long. But we could listen to it whenever we wanted to feel like we're getting energized for the Card Maker Success Summit. I'm so happy to see so many of you here. I hope you have lots of questions. I saw some comments in Justine's live that people are wondering how to attend all the lives after they've watched the videos. And the reality is on these days, especially in the mornings, it's going to be difficult. When the videos go live at 8 and the live stream starts at 9, it's going to be tough to watch everything before you're able to come to the live stream. So what I suggest, the obvious solution to that is to get the VIP pass if you can, because then you've got time to watch the videos. From the time you buy the pass, you can watch the videos right away. The other thing to do is I would prioritize the live streams. Maybe you don't need to watch all the live streams. Just choose your favorites and watch their videos, right at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever time that is for you, where you are. And, just try to get prepared. Even if you watch us at 2 times speed, just to kind of have an idea of what we're doing and just join in the live stream and see what people are talking about. So I hope that's helpful. And I hope that you guys have lots of questions for me. I love to come on here and chat with you guys and see what you're all up to. Good morning from Mississippi. Good morning, Jamela. What a pretty name. If you do have any ink to make the card, is it possible? Oh, if you don't, probably. I think if you don't have any ink to make the card, is it possible to paint the ornaments? Yes, absolutely. I think that's a great creative solution for you. If you don't have ink, you could even still make the stencils. I would try to maybe make them out of thicker paper, but you could still make the temporary stencils and use acrylic paint. And you would still, by using the stencil, you would still get kind of the consistency in the shape. But yeah, you can definitely use paint with a stencil. That's how, do you remember? I'm trying to think, like, was it the 80s or the 90s where we were all like stenciling on our walls with those like pouncer brushes and stuff? Do you remember those old home shows? And yeah, I seem to remember that. I never did it. It seemed like too much work, but I'm happy to stencil on my cards for sure. Cheryl, I love your cards you made today. Thanks, Cheryl. I also appreciate that you showed us how to create so many different designs without die cuts. Question, is the turntable expensive? That's a really good question. Right now, the turntable seems to be unavailable. We had that question in Justine's live as well. And both We Are Memory Keepers and I think it was Craftables or Craft Stash or something. Both those companies had a turntable and they just seem to have quietly disappeared. I don't know if they're discontinued. I don't know if there's just supply chain issues. Remember those? I don't know what's going on with them. But what I can say is that Amazon has very cheap turntables, probably your dollar stores. And I've even got a friend who uses a cake decorating turntable. She just puts her grit mat on her cake decorating turntable, and she uses it just like I use my turntable. But if you ever see one, I would definitely pick them up. Oh, where I have seen them is actually in stores. So like stores who may be bought from We Are Memory Keepers and that other brand, they may still have them. So if you have a local store, take a look there and see if you can find them. I can honestly say, probably in the last 5 years, that turntable grit mat combination has been a game changer. It has been the best purchase I've made in my craft room. And if you do a lot of ink blending and if you do a lot of coloring, because the ability to just kind of turn it so that you're always, I'm showing my left hand because I'm left-handed, but so that you're always comfortable, you're not having to pick up the paper and turn it all the time, makes such a big difference. I love to ink blend. I love to use stencils. So it's a real game changer for me. What's next? Question, what brand of die cutter do you use? Okay, well, that's my Platinum 6. That's my Gemini Junior. So I use both of them. I have had a Gemini Junior for years and years and years, probably since they first came out, and I always really enjoyed using it. The one area where I was struggling a bit was with 3D embossing folders. I was finding I was having a hard time getting sandwiches that didn't warp my actual embossing folders. So a lot of my embossing folders are kind of warped. They still work. They're not damaged, but they don't lie flat for storage and they just don't look very nice, but they still work. So when there was a deal on the Platinum 6, I think somebody was going out of business. So I was able to get the Platinum 6 at a good deal. And initially I only used it for embossing. But then over time, I started trying to use it with my die cutting, and I really like it. I find both of these machines excellent. The other die cutting machine I have is a little one called, I'm looking over here because I can see it. It's called the Altenew Mini Blossom. So whenever I'm, if I'm away from my desk, or if I was sitting at my desk, if I'm on a Zoom call with somebody and I want to be working at my desk, then I use that. And it's got a plate that's, I don't know, 3 inches by 6.5 inches or something. It actually can cut pretty much all the dies that you want to cut other than cover plates. Hi, Jeanette. Good morning. Jeanette is, well, we're almost neighbors. Jeanette just lives about an hour away from me. Have you tried some different tapes for masking? Are there any suggestions for inexpensive options? I have used the Post-it tape. I have, and again, this was a unique situation. I'm going to say about 5 years ago, there was a big sale on the 2-inch Post-it tape, and I think it was like half price. I bought as many as I could. So I still have a bunch of them in my drawers behind me. So I use that a lot. I've got the 1-inch Post-it tape. I've got the mint tape. And I haven't done a comparison of all the prices. And I haven't purchased it for a while because when I do, especially when I'm importing from scrapbook.com in the States, I tend to buy a bunch of it so that I'm not having to pay shipping multiple times. Yeah, shipping to Canada from the US can be an issue. It takes forever. And sometimes when it gets here, you have to pay taxes and duties on it, which, makes it more expensive, which is a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. We do have some local stores in Canada, but not terribly close to me. So, question. Hi, Cheryl. Again, thank you. Cheryl, in your question, in your opinion, what would you say is a must-have? Do you mean for a beginner card maker? I would say you need, for sure, you need cardstock, you need glue, you need a way to cut your cardstock, whether that's a paper trimmer. You might have one anyway that you use in your office. And then beyond that, it depends what you want to do. Like we talk about stamping, and we stamp me some love, and like we talk about stamping all the time. I say I'm a stamper, but really I do a lot more ink blending with stencils. So maybe that's your interest, or maybe stamping and coloring is your interest, or maybe multimedia is your interest, multimedia or mixed media. Sorry, that means like all sorts of things. So definitely you want nice paper. It really depends on how you feel about a card that you want to send. I personally like a sturdy card base. So I use 110-pound white card. I guess it's Nina 110 pound. I like it super sturdy. If you're building up layers on your card, you may find that an 80-pound cardstock is sturdy enough. I want it to still look good when it's been through the mail and the person has opened the card. I don't want it to have been all bent or anything. So I like a thick card base. I know other people prefer thinner card bases. And then what else did I say? A trimmer so that you can get straight cuts. So, you can get cheap trimmers at Staples or an office store. I have a very expensive trimmer that you can just about see here in the corner. But I bought that back in the day when I was making wedding invitations because I needed like precision. And I bought it probably 15, maybe even 18 years ago. And because it's got a metal blade on a metal edge, I've never had to replace the blade. It sharpens itself. So, like what was $200 18 years ago, I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of it. So if you are thinking that you're going to be in this for long term, I do think it's good to invest in your basic tools so that they last and so that they do their job properly. And a trimmer that trims straight and has correct measurements is very important. If you're going to be a stamper, I would definitely look at getting a stamp positioner, whether that's a Misty or a stamp wheel or any of the other ones that are out there. Outside of the US, there are even more options because the Misty patent only covers the US. So yeah, those things. And then, like I say, beyond that, whatever interests you, then start focusing in that area. Artistically creative. Oh, I love that name. That's great. That's what I'm doing. Scanning through presentations to get the live stream Q&A in time. Tonight I'll watch tomorrow's lineup. Yes, it is. Okay, to watch tomorrow's lineup, tonight, the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you have a VIP ticket. And that's what Brandy was talking about yesterday, was taking a look at the live stream schedule to see who you want to watch live, and then make sure or try to watch their video beforehand. If you have a VIP ticket, from the minute you get the information in your email, you can watch all the presentations, whether they haven't started yet for the summit or whether they've expired for the weekend summit. VIP gets immediate and lifetime access to all the videos. Okay, that is the biggest benefit you get for your money. There are lots of others, but that is the biggest benefit, is that flexibility to watch them whenever you want. And going forward, guys, like if you buy, like the people who bought the VIP pass 2 weeks ago, they've already been watching the videos for 2 weeks. So you'll probably already be seeing people posting their cards that they're making in the Facebook group. So I don't want to turn this into a VIP ad because I get it. It's not for everybody, but just so that you understand better how it works. Okay. Would distress oxide? Absolutely, they would. I don't have distress oxide. Well, that's not quite true. I have a small collection of distress oxides. I am so used to working with my Catherine Pooler inks whenever I try the Distress Oxides, there's something different about them. I'm just not used to them, and I have not put in the time to get used to them. So yeah, any inks would work for these. The Distress Oxides would give you that pretty chalky finish. Plus, the Distress Oxides tend to blend really, really easily. So, oh, I'm getting warm. Is it warm where you are? It's warm here. Good morning, Michelle. How do you choose the colors you use on a project? That's a great question. I generally look at, just anywhere. Like, it used to be that everything I did was rainbow because I just couldn't choose a color combination. But more and more what I do is I look around for palettes either on Pinterest or just, if I see a card that I like that has colors that I like, I'll kind of translate them into my Catherine Pooler colors and then use that. So for today's cards where I chose these kind of more muted colors, that I looked up, I wanted a mid-century kind of mod, that atomic age. I wanted that kind of feel. So I just Googled it and said mid-century color combinations and just scrolled through, then clicked on images, then just scrolled through until I found something I liked. Lisa says, can you make the card with any ink? Absolutely. I haven't worked with Pigment Inks, and I don't know that there's even a lot of them around anymore. I think other than the VersaFines. What I would be concerned about if you have a pigment ink is just making sure that everything's dry before you move on to the next color, or even the next, like if you're moving the stencil, you want to be sure that the thing that you just blended is dry, because if it's taking longer to dry, you might smudge it if you're moving around and trying to work on it too quickly. Okay. I see. Okay. Do you create while traveling? The honest truth is I don't travel very much lately. We're just at a time in our lives where our kids are back and forth, and between university and, we're trying to get them launched and all that kind of stuff. So we haven't traveled too much. When I do travel, it's often to visit my sister in Virginia. I don't take stuff to craft with me. I take a break because I craft pretty much as a job almost, between, working with Brandy and keeping my YouTube channel. I don't want to say it feels like a job. It feels like a great job. But when I travel, that's generally when I take a break from crafting. I did see a question about my favorite card size, and it's this. It's a 4 1/4 inch square. And the reason I like it is because, first of all, you can get 2 out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet. You just cut down 4 1/4, 4 1/4, and then you have a strip that you can use for your die cuts. I like it because I can fit it into an A2 sized envelope, and there's no extra postage. I know in the US, if you send a square envelope, there's extra postage required. In Canada, I don't know if that's true or not, because I just put these in a regular A2 size envelope, and then there's no question, no trouble. Hi, Liz. Thanks for sharing your fab designs. Let's say I didn't use masking paper and I ended with adhesive residue on some areas when removing the ash. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, I would start that. This has happened to me where I thought I was using temporary adhesive, but I actually ended up using permanent adhesive. It happened very recently to me, because it's a long story. It doesn't even matter why. So what I would do, if you don't have an adhesive eraser, and I'm just wondering if I have one close by, let's see. There's a number of different kinds. So I've got this kind of rubbery thing. Artists often have like a gum eraser that can take off adhesive. But if you don't have any of that stuff, what I would do is I would just take my finger and I would very lightly rub it. And it might take a long time. And just, you know, increase your pressure a little bit until it's starting to roll off. The other thing I would do is put an embellishment over it, put my sentiment strip over it. I would try very hard not to get to the point where I had to throw it out. But yeah, I would try to camouflage it if I couldn't get it off. Okay, what? We just got here. My goodness. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've got any more questions, please leave them in the Facebook group. Tag me by putting @Ardyth. My name should come up when you start typing @ and then AR, and I'll be watching in the group to answer any more questions that you have. Thanks so much, and I guess I will see you next time. Bye.